Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX Studios in Atlanta, Georgia, it's time for GWBC Radio's Open for Business. Now, here's your host.
Lee Kantor here, broadcasting live from WBENC's National Conference 2022 inside the Georgia World Congress Center, inside the GWBC booth 1812, if you want to come by and see us. So excited to have the guests we have right now, Crystal King and Clovice.
Clovice, there you go.
I screwed it up. Clovice Vaughn. Sorry about that. With Grady Health Systems. Crystal and Clovice, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, how's the show been for you?
It's been really good. Lots of great exhibits, great conversation. So it's been awesome.
It's been great. It's just been good just to get out and see
a lot of people in one place, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's been a minute. Talk about GWBC. Why is it important for you to be involved?
It's important for us at Grady. We have a really robust program at Grady for diverse suppliers, and women suppliers have come through for us in major ways, especially during COVID. Staffing companies providing nurses and PPE. We just believe that women always make the world better. We find the same with our women-owned business partners.
Now, at Grady, you use a variety of services, so I want the women business owners to kind of think bigger and broader, right? Because there's a lot of things they might be able to help you with that they may not be thinking. They might be self-selecting out before they even have a chance to have a conversation with you. What are some of the maybe different types of things that you need from the women business owners that maybe they're not thinking of that they might be a good resource?
Well, from my perspective, it's business as usual. You know, being a hospital, you don't really think about certain things in that capacity because in a hospital we bill construction-wise, marketing, IT. I mean, all of those that you see in some of the other big name corporations, the hospital industry use them as well. Now, we have our specialties like medical devices, durable medical equipment, things of that caliber, but for the most part, we use some of the same service levels as some of the other big name corporations.
Right, so anything that you would do for any large company would be appropriate for Grady, and it's not. But a lot of times people think, "Oh, Grady, I don't have a medical device, or I don't know anything about medicine, so that they're not in my list of people to even have a conversation with."
That's right. We try to really change the conversation about that. Don't think of healthcare as health-related things all the time.
Right.
Anything it takes to run your house, anything it takes to run a city, a school, any other business. We have printers. We have everything. The
right.
janitorial service.
Every business you have.
We have.
And plus the medical stuff. So it's not an or, it's an and.
Right.
That's
in addition to, correct.
And we would love to see more women-owned businesses on that medical side, on the clinical side of the house, with medical devices, with medical technology. Those are places where we see that women pool shrink.
Right.
Tremendously. And so we would love to help grow and develop women-owned businesses on that side of the business.
So now when you say grow and develop, what does that mean? Like, say I'm a woman-owned business and I want to partner with Grady. How do I even get started?
So if you're listening to this podcast, hopefully you're tuned in to WBENC. And we really used GWBC, the Greater Women's Business Council, where Roz Lewis is the CEO and chair, as our resource, our main resource to reach women-owned suppliers, because it's so many people. Clovice and I can't possibly meet everybody.
Right.
So once we have a level of comfort that if you've come through WBENC and you've gone through that certification process, it puts a stamp of approval on you.
Right. You've been vetted. We know that you're legit. This is just because you're a woman doesn't mean you're a certified woman-owned business. Those are two different things.
That's right. And we don't count you if you're not. We don't get to count you for our spin reports if you're not certified.
You better get certified.
Get the certification.
Right.
And so we attend all of the WBENC events, the GWBC events, and that's where you will meet us and most corporates, because we can't be everywhere.
Right.
So we use them as our conduit to the people
right. They're
who are
the
really
first line of
serious.
defense.
That's right.
And just to add to that conversation part, you mentioned about the certification piece and that vetting process. So that eliminates some of the field work or trench work that we would normally do by identifying business that's associated with GWBC and WBENC itself.
Right. So you don't have to kind of vet them because they've already been vetted in order to be part of that organization.
True.
That's right.
And then that enables you to focus on the most important part, is the relationship building part, to making sure it's a right fit for you and your team, and they have what you need and you have what you need from them.
Very much so.
But that's an education process, right? Just because someone sells something or has a service, that doesn't mean they're the right fit. You have to kind of learn how to work together, right?
No, there's a combination of things. It has to be a need for that product, good, and services. Once you identify that need, then you can have that opportunity to identify women-owned businesses that can bring forth that value for those opportunities. So, yeah, it has to be a handshake for the need, for the products, goods, and services needs. Once that has been identified, then that's where you can always start and develop those relationships that you have.
Now, does it work best when they start with start small with a small need just to get to know each other, get to work together, so you can see, okay, these people are a good fit, they know how we operate, they know what to do in order to be successful in our ecosystem, because the way you do business may not exactly be the way that some other big business does business, right?
Yeah, and we've been spending a lot of time educating our suppliers about what it means to work in healthcare, because healthcare is different than the energy or telecom. So we work with group purchasing organizations. For instance, Grady works with Vizient, is our group purchasing organization. We use distributors. Medline is our distributor. So while you might not be able to come in to sell something to Grady today, we make those introductions so you can get on Vizient contract or get on Medline contract. And they don't just deal with Grady. Right.
So
they deal with all the hospitals. So we're really trying to educate people on not minimizing what you do and on making them understand what it really means to work in healthcare, being on GPO contract, being on distributor contract, and then bringing new technology to the table, right? Because I'm putting it out in the universe, there's a huge need for hospital at home services right now. The technology and the connections to do it effectively.
So there's opportunity there that isn't being tapped, and you have a need, and if somebody's out there listening...
Yeah. We know we have the need, but we know we haven't met the person with the technology yet. But we need a way to monitor patients once they go home, that transition of care. Grady is great about we don't send people home if we're not comfortable that they will get the same level of care that we've been providing in the hospital. So that makes our average length of stay a little longer than some other hospitals.
Right.
But if we can send you home and know that you can be monitored and get the food you need,
and the outcome is there.
The outcome is going to be the same as if you were in the hospital, that's a huge opportunity right now.
Yeah. Huge. Yeah. Now, is there a story you can share maybe with a woman-owned business that you work with that you helped and then it was impactful?
We have so many.
Yeah. You don't have to name the name of the company, but maybe tell the story about what they came to the table with. Maybe they were small and grew or something like that.
Well, I have an excellent story in that aspect. One of the woman-owned certified business that is here at the event today, at that time they was highly into the IT profession. Mm-hmm. Of course, the pandemic happened. They had to pivot because not many businesses was doing a great deal in IT. They pivoted to the nursing aspect. I was one of the responsibility, Crystal and I brought them to the team for the nursing aspects of it. And that really saved their company's life.
Right, because if they didn't have that, then they would have gone out of business probably because there wasn't any opportunity for a period of time.
And every time that lady sees
she hugs
one
you
of
and thanks you.
Yes, she does.
Because, I mean, that's what I can't emphasize enough, especially to the corporates out there. The account that you give them, even if it's a small account, it could be life-changing for that. It could be an individual with their family that makes the difference between them eating this month or them not eating this month, or they're in business or they're not in business. So the impact is real.
It is, and we really have tried to help the suppliers understand our needs and help our internal customers understand the suppliers' needs.
Right.
Because we have to meet.
We got to work together.
We've got to meet in a certain place, right? So in healthcare, you'll find that a lot of things are streamlined. Like, for instance, I don't know if I should say the name, but we use an MSP. I will say that. But during COVID, we have several women-owned businesses who made millions of dollars through that MSP because nurses were writing their own ticket. And so to know, but our internal customer only had to deal with that one person, right? They didn't have to manage 15 different companies.
That became someone else's problem.
And so to understand the needs of the customer, but understanding that, hey, if you can just give a slither of that pie to this small or woman-owned company, that's life-changing for somebody, then we're really teaching supplier diversity at Grady from a standpoint of economic empowerment and economic impact. That the more we employ the diverse women-owned businesses, then those are people who give people in our communities jobs who don't show up with no insurance in the ER, right? So it's a win-win.
Everybody wins, though. This is a situation that everybody wins.
It's a trickle-down
effect. And it's just a lot of these folks just need the opportunity.
That's it. And we are opportunity givers. we love it.
So how does someone get on the supplier list? Is it through GWBC as the first step, and then they get certified there, and then that'll get them connected with Grady? Or does Grady have a place on the website or somewhere that they can go and say, hey, raise their hand and say that, hey, I'm here?
Well, I'll say D, all of the aforementioned. Of course, I mentioned that previously there has to be that need.
Right, there has to be a need and a fit and all that. Yeah. But if everything is there, that the best way is go to the website and kind of poke around. There's a supplier diversity.
We do have on our website contract opportunities. So if you see a needs out there that fit your bill or fit the opportunity skill sets that you provide, then by all means respond to that. But it goes back to what you mentioned earlier. The relationship building.
Right.
So if you build the relationships with a woman-owned business and that opportunity comes about, you're going to instantly think about that conversation that you had.
Right.
You reach out to them, ask them about their skill sets, and provide information pertaining to the RFP or RFI or RFQ, whichever R reflection. And then the next steps come into play, where you make the introduction to the subject matter experts learn more about what those businesses do, and kind of fits within that pipeline.
We're not big on the dropping your name in a bucket and then we try to fish you out.
Right.
We want to know you.
Right.
So we are very involved with WBENC, with GWBC. We're members at the national level and at our local level. And the best way to see us is to see us.
Right.
And
Relationships
get to know us.
are important.
Relationships matter for us because I've worked in organizations, and we've had instances where fishing somebody's name out of a hat doesn't let you know if it's a good match.
Right. You got to do the work, and you got to invest in the relationship.
That's right. So supplier diversity at gmh.edu is a place they can send capability statements.
Right. But reach out to a human being, get to know you.
That's it.
And then let it evolve from there.
Yeah, it's not a black hole. We are active.
There are humans there.
Yes, we
promise.
We are not a robot.
Yeah, we really do. We go through them all, and we're not afraid to tell you it's not a good fit.
Right.
And we make so many introductions to other healthcare systems who are bigger than us, who have different needs. But I tell everybody, Grady is a very old hospital. So if you're in construction, you should definitely be talking to us. We always have something broken, busted, leaking. Need fixing.
Well, thank you both for sharing your story today. You're doing important work, and we appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
All right, this is Lee Kantor. We'll be back in a few at WBENC National Conference 2022 inside GWBC's booth.